Good afternoon to everybody. I hope you can hear me. I'm in my car today and I'm on the highway. Uh, I'm going live and I'm not necessarily proud that I'm going live, but I'm going live because of the things that are current uh, in the spaces that we live in. And I'm bothered by it. And I feel like uh, if you are worth your salt at all, that you would be bothered by it as well. I'm troubled in the sense to where I heard a little joke, and it's a bit ornery, but it has a whole lot of truth to it. I don't want y'all to hold my feet to the fire when I say this. I'm only saying it because I wanted to arrest your attention. But there was a joke that circulated, and the joke was, what did the one butt cheek say to the other butt cheek? And the answer to that question is, he says, if we can stick together, we can stop this tit. Now, I didn't cuss right then, right there. I said tit or it, however you want to say it. I didn't say shh. I didn't say shh and put an it on it. But y'all get the point. The one butt cheek said to the other butt cheek, if we can stick together, because of all the poison, all the waste, all the issues that are in the belly, that are in the intestines, that we need to get rid of, but we need to get rid of it appropriately. Said if we stick together, we can stop this stuff from coming out, from making a mess, from bringing about a stench. If we can stick together. I talked on yesterday from the book of the church, the book of the congregation, the Ecclesia 4:12, and it talks about a one string chord and a two string chord and a three string chord, and it says that once you get to a three string chord, it is not easily broken. But the issue that I want to bring to you today is that we have broken the cord. We have broken the cord amongst Black people, and it is African. This is a Black History Month for African American people. If you and this is what it is. So let's talk about it. Do not want to talk about it because it's become taboo, and we saying, done with it. Let's get on with it. But we're not getting on with it appropriately in the right light. And so I want to just talk about it just briefly because I'm driving. But I'm a bit irritated and I'm bothered. I'm disturbed because of what I'm hearing and what I am observing. So I'm going to talk about some things that are allegedly being done to people. And then I'm going to validate that with things that I am presently observing or I am witnessing. So just to vet it a little bit, this ain't no hearsay or, a speculation. This is things that I would say that they have a lot of truth to it. There's some big teeth that are in it based upon what I've experienced in my own life. It's just that I am not in that arena. Now I want you to listen to me. I brought up a gentleman's name. He's a pastor from way back in the 1800s. He's a journalist. He's a historian. He is a classical trained scholar. And he said these words, he penned these words in the book that he wrote, and I showed it to y'all, and I admonished you to go get this book. It's Black History Month, 2024, February. He wrote in the book Cushite, the Cushite, very interesting powerful read. I encourage everybody to go get this book and just give deference to, Black history. If you don't do it no other time, do it this month. Order that book, The Cushite, Rufus L. Perry. These were the words that he penned, and I'm going to try to quote them as much as I can. He said the only difference between the ancient Cushite and the modern Cushite, he says there's two things that are standing in between the ancient Cushite and the modern Cushite. He said the two things are accident and circumstance. I raised that yesterday when I was reading, my little thing with my little time that I shared with y'all on yesterday. Two things, he said, that are differences between the ancient Cushite. If y'all don't know what a Cushite is, it's Black people, Ethiopian people, Egyptian people, dark-skinned people. He says that the ancient Cushite, which was kings and queens, they were the progenitors of science and math and astrology and astronomy and all the different sciences and arts and all that stuff that nowadays they are commodities. We pay people a whole lot just to be at the top of their game in these different fields. They were people back then that they were extremely talented. Extremely talented. He says the difference, though, between the talent back then, the Black people back then, the Cushite back then, he says the difference between back then and now, the modern Cushite, he says the difference is, he says, an accident and circumstances. Accident and circumstances. Now, I want y'all to think about that because I didn't have time to unpack that on yesterday, nor do I have time to unpack it today. I'm going to come back and revisit that, but I wanted to preference my live today with that thought. I want that to be in your mind because there is something that is happening to us even now, currently. And Rufus L. Perry said the difference is accident and circumstances, and we need to revisit that. We need to understand, what did he mean by accident and circumstances? Accident and circumstances. There was now my title today is The New Black Slave Master. That's my title. There was once said, and I didn't have a chance to do my homework to bring about the right designation, to vet this, to cite it specifically and concisely. I didn't have time to do that. But let me just put it this way. There was the voice of the oppressor at one point. This was during the time of Jim Crow and or before the Jim Crow era. But it was one of the voices now of the oppressor. Help me, Holy Ghost. I feel Jesus up in here. This is what it said. The voice of the oppressor. It said this, and I need y'all to hear me, Black people, Cushites, descendants of Ham. I need you to hear what I'm saying. One of the voices back then, this is what they said, and it holds true today. The voice now has encompassed a system and a structure. It was a part of a system and a structure and a scheme, a plan, a plot for Black people, African American people of today. Black folks of modernity, Cushites of 2024. The voice said this, the voice said that you don't have to do anything, I'm paraphrasing, you don't have to do anything to Black people. You don't have to annihilate them, you don't have to kill them, You don't really even have to oppress them. Now listen to this. It says all we have to do is set up a system by which they feed into. And the voice of oppression said, black people will self-destruct. They will annihilate. They will oppress themselves. Now, if y'all don't believe me, I don't remember the exact voice, the person that initiated this, and it has been echoed throughout history. But I want to talk about the truth of it, because what we're seeing right now is the truth of that. We didn't got to go back in Black History Month and talk about things that happened 100 years ago, 200 years ago. We got to do it. We making history right now. We making history today. I was laying in my bed last night and I was disturbed because I believe that this is the time, this is the year of exposure. Not just exposure with, you know, a whole lot of stuff that we're seeing out there, elections and politics and all that stuff, but we're seeing a lot of current exposure with black people of power, black people that have been given this title, the gatekeepers. Now watch where I'm going. I'm getting ready to close. I feel the spirit of the late Dr. E.V. Hill coming up on me. This is what's going on amongst our people in our community, in the spaces now that we live in. I want you to like, share, and subscribe. I was in my bed last night and I was watching Shay Shay, the Shay Shay Club, and he had, I don't know if it was last night or whatever, but it came up on my feed. And I was flipping through YouTube and I saw it, and he was interviewing Monique. And Monique said some things that really arrested me. Now, let me set the record straight. I'm not in agreement with Monique as it relates to her theological or her conviction as it relates to how people should salute a higher power. I'm not in agreement with that because she gives deference to the universe. So we have to part ways right there. I give deference to Jesus Christ and him only as my Lord and Savior. She talks about the universe that has brought things together. But I'm not here to talk about that. I'm here to talk about the truth now that she disclosed. The truth that Cat Williams has disclosed. Why is it now that there's some things that's coming out about the dark side of Hollywood that has captivated so many of us? They have become icons and idols to us, and we stand up and we want to be like Mike. And I mean that figuratively. We want to be like Oprah Winfrey. We want to be like Tyler Perry. We envy Oprah. We envy Tyler. We envy Lee Daniels. We envy Kevin Hart. But now all of a sudden we're finding some things out. This is the reason why my message is called The New Black Slave Masters, because allegedly the information that is being shared or disseminated now amongst the masses is that we don't know how to treat one another. Now we were supposed to, well, we was already enslaved. But isn't it strange now that what we saw the master do, we're doing it to one another? Now I'm talking about something allegedly. I'm not there in Hollywood. I don't know, but I don't think that it's a lie. I don't think that it's a lie. I don't think it's a lie because of the things that was said and the invitations. She said, invite Oprah, invite Tyler Perry, have them come on and I'll come on too. Y'all watch it for yourself. My point is this, is that now we share the space where, when I said on yesterday from Ecclesiastes 4:12, I said a threefold cord is not easily broke. And my cry towards the people was, do what you got to do to stay together. When I say stay together, I'm saying figure out a way to cohabitate, figure out a way to unite. figure out a way to join, to be a team with one another. Why is it now that we can't share? We can't be in the same spaces and love on one another and treat each other right. We can see the Indian people do it. We see the Chinese people do it. We can definitely see white people do it. They got differences. But of all the races under the sun right now, and, you know, I'm just saying this based on what I know. It could be races that I don't know that's worse than black people. But my experience, my understanding, my study, my vetting is that black people have been plagued by this demon worse than any other race in the history of time. Black people. And it started way back in antiquity with the Cushites, when they couldn't get along with one another, and God had given them the power. But they released the power from their hands because they didn't see eye to eye with one another. They couldn't share the same space. They couldn't get along. So they started fighting and killing one another. And so the other races, they looked at it and they said, we can capitalize on this. I tell you what we're going to do. We're going to devise a plan. We ain't got to go in and shoot them and kill them. They shooting and killing themselves. They are self-destructing and they don't even know that they're self-destructing. Let's bring it current now. If Monique and Cat Williams and what's the other girl out there in the color, the one girl that's crying, I can't think of her name right now, talking about the way that Oprah was treating her with the wages. Now I know some of y'all would say, well, she need to be man, I can't say Tyree Henson, the Henson girl, whatever her name is, Henson, Taraji Henson. Y'all would say, well, you know, she's a millionaire. Somebody would say that I'm a millionaire with respect to the community that I live in. They would consider me as being rich. Am I rich? Yes. But I'm rich. It's relative to who you're talking to. If you're talking about me and Taraji, I ain't rich. If you're talking about Taraji and Kevin Hart, she ain't rich. If you're talking about Kevin Hart compared to Oprah Winfrey, he ain't rich. It's relative. But with a relative space, you have to put things in perspective and say, wait a minute. So in Hollywood, this is the going rate for Hollywood after you achieve a certain status. When you stop auditioning, when somebody just calls you out and say, I want you to be a part of this next movie or whatever it may be. I don't know. I'm not in Hollywood. But there's a certain decorum that goes with that. Just like in the space that I live in, there's a certain decorum. And so when I deal with my people, yeah, I'm above. I look rich to a whole lot of people. When I go to the grocery store, do I have to add up what's in the grocery cart? No, I don't. If I go to the car lot, I can go pick whatever car I want to. If I want to go on a vacation, I can go on a vacation. I ain't got to think about it. So in many spaces, that's considered rich. But in the space that she's in, she got a movie now. I don't know. I can't vet this. I wasn't there. But she says, hey, they paid me, $50,000 for movies that has made millions, multiple millions, tens of millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars. That's her testimony. That's Monique's testimony. At the end of the day, because I'm not there, but I'm sharing this because I've witnessed it myself. I've witnessed black people that they are given a certain status and a certain power, and then they look down on other black people because they have, they look at them like, peons and slaves, and they don't treat them right. They mistreat them. I worked in corporate America. I saw it. I was a man under authority and a man of authority. I know what I'm talking about. That's the reason why I preface this by saying I ain't just talking about what I don't know. This is my I've heard it, but it's been my observation. It's been what I've seen, my experience as well. All I'm trying to say as I hang the phone up is that we got to pull together. I don't know how true everything is, but it sure sound true. It sure sound like, Tyler Perry and Oprah Winfrey got their hand in the cookie jar. And Lee Daniels and Kevin Hart, although Monique said Lee Daniels did make it right, I applaud that. But it's a whole lot more of us out there that we need to start making some things right as it relates to Black people. You know why? We are currently making history. We're making history right now, y'all. It's Black History Month, yes, but we are making history. It's current history. It's modern history. We ain't got to go back. It's stuff that's going on right now underneath our nose. And it's a lot of stuff that's being exposed. The cover is being taken off. And I really believe God is in it. He's exposing the church. There's a lot of things being exposed. I ain't saying that T.D. Jakes, he's a father of the gospel. I love T.D. Jakes. I cut my teeth on T.D. Jakes. T.D. Jakes helped me through a lot of rough times. But I had a problem with T.D. Jakes. And I started to part with T.D. Jakes when I saw Tyler Perry lay hands on T.D. Jakes, and T.D. Jakes started shimmying. He's a father in the gospel. What in the world is a man that I've never heard profess anything really? What is he doing laying hands on you and you almost falling out in the spirit? Publicly. This ain't nothing I heard. I saw this with my own eyes. Something is wrong. Now, that's not to say that Bishop Jakes, that he's off, and I don't know all the stuff with P. Diddy and all that kind of stuff. I don't know nothing about that. Ain't none of my business. Well, it is my business because of the place in the body that Bishop T.D. Jakes hold. It is. It's part of it. But what I'm saying is I don't have facts on that. I do know this. The Bible says, don't let your good be evil spoken of. A man of that stature and wisdom, you ain't got no business going to a P. Diddy party. And I understand we can argue that. But me, I ain't nobody. I ain't got no voice, ain't got no platform, and this, that, and the other. Why? Who are you? Me and my little bit of wisdom, I ain't getting ready to do that. And I ain't got nothing to prove to nobody. But wisdom tells me don't go and do stuff like that. Only because we live in a cruel world. The perception of it. Don't let your good be evil spoken of. Now, he said that, he go to prisons and all that stuff. I get all that, what he's saying. And going to a P. Diddy party, he may have went there and had good intentions. But now your good is being evil spoken of because it just wasn't wise. If you're going to deal with PD, whatever the boy's name is, P. Diddy, if you're going to deal with him, then deal with him differently. Deal with him privately. You ain't got to go to no party, Bishop. Come on, y'all. I'm saying we're making history today. Black people, let's get it together. Let's make good history. Let's turn this around. We got to figure out ways to unite, to be together, to do great exploits. Do it. I'm out.